What's up, everybody? We're talking about symmetrical triangles. This is video number 2 of 8 of the top 8 bullish charting patterns. We're going to be talking about what the symmetrical triangle pattern is, how to draw it, and what it means. So, a symmetrical triangle pattern is a chart pattern that forms when the price of an asset converges with two trend lines that are moving toward each other, creating a triangle shape. So, to draw this, we have Ulta pull it up here. And basically, we're going to go from this high. We'll use the magnet again. We'll go from this high down here to the most recent price. And then we'll go from this bottom up to the most recent price. And you can see, just like you can see it on here, on my little chart that I made, you come down and then you touch here for this high. You bounce down to this bottom, to the top, back down to the bottom, back to the top, and now you're getting tighter and tighter into this symmetrical triangle pattern. Now, typically with a symmetrical triangle pattern, it's considered a continuation pattern. So meaning if we were coming downward and then we form this, typically you will more than likely get a break to the downside. But I like to play them in the way of, whatever way it breaks is the way it's going to go. And that's how you should play it. You shouldn't just play it like, oh, there's a symmetrical triangle pattern. I'm going to try to get ahead of the game and say that it's going to go to the downside. If it doesn't break to the downside, do not do that. So you have to wait for it to get really tight in here and then tell you if it's going to go up or down. Okay. So now that we have it drawn basically with these trend lines, that's how we do it. We go from one point at the top down to the bottom, and it's kind of like, funneling in the candles into one area. So we're just funneling the candles into one area, and it's basically funneling them onto one room, and it's becoming a fire hazard because, more and more people are funneling into this room, and now it's getting, shoulder to shoulder. And then eventually what's going to happen in that room is that, someone's going to get pushed out the door because there's just too many people in the room, or people are going to start getting squished more and more until people are just like, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm going this way. You're going that way. Might jump out the window. Who knows? So that's kind of a good analogy for it. And basically, all you're doing is looking for the breakout to the upside or downside. Now, once you get that breakout to the upside or downside, you are going to want to know how far down we are going to go or how far up we are going to go. So to measure the move to the upside or downside, all we are going to do is we're going to take our little measuring tool right here. It's on the left side on your trading view. You take this measuring tool. I like to click the magnet here because it sticks to the top or bottom of the candles. You're going to take this top of this candle that you started your symmetrical triangle pattern with, and you're going to go to the bottom of the candle. So this one will be this green candle. So we have a negative 13,000. The negative or plus doesn't matter. It's 13,650 bar move. Now this is how you're always going to draw your potential move. You're going to draw it by the bars. 13,650, not by the percentage, because the percentage varies if you're going up or down or how much the stock price is or so on and so forth. So you're going to take 13,650. You're going to take this little price range tool. The price range tool is right here. So fifth one down under projections, go down here to measure. It's going to be the price range tool. And essentially, you are going to remember 13,650, and you're going to put it at the breakout areas. And you were going to draw it up until you hit the 13,650 mark. You can double click it, go to the coordinates, and basically increase the price of the bar until you get to 13,650 right here. Click OK. And then you could do the same thing to the downside. And where I drew that was right where I believe it would break out at. Obviously, once it breaks out, you'll adjust it to where exactly it broke out at. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be close enough. And then same thing here. Let's just say it broke out to the downside right there. So 13,650, right? Yep, 13,650. too much. 13,672. And then we're going to bring this price up, down, sorry. 13,650. Boom. So these are, when I always talk about my videos about measured moves, these are your measured moves. So if we get a break out to the downside of our symmetrical triangle pattern, expect a move down to, let's call it 237. That's going to be the move. And if we get a breakout to the upside, we will get a move up to about $529 and some change. So that is how you get the measured move. Now the timeline of the measured move, and basically the timeline isn't going to be perfect. It's not like if it's 10 years, it's going to take 10 years. Basically, it's just giving you a timeline of how long this might take to pan out. But usually it always pans out faster than your timeline. But it's good to have a timeline. That way it's like, let's just draw it. So you take for the timeline, you're going to go down here. Also right in here for your measure, fifth one down on the toolbar, you're going to go to measure, you're going to go to your date range. So your date range, you're going to put it to the, obviously where the symmetrical triangle started. You're going to draw it to the breakout area. Just call it here. So you have 231 days or 33 bars. You're going to copy that, paste it. You're going to drag it over to the start of that where the breakout happened. You're going to come here, take a vertical line. You don't have to, but I like to because it marks the date down here. And it's telling you that if we have a breakout to the upside on this date right here, the week of November 25th, it'll take till you should have a move to $529 before July of 2025, or a move down to $237 by or before July 2025 as well. So that is how you draw a symmetrical triangle pattern. That is what a symmetrical triangle pattern is. That is how you take the measured moves, and that is also how you take the measured timeline for it. Last thing I'll throw in there is with these, when you have a break to the upside, it has a 75% success rate. 75% success rate. You should know what that means. It just means that if you break up, your 75% chance that you will come up and continue higher and go to your price target. Nothing's perfect, guys. So 75% chance is a pretty good odds, especially whenever you take it in consideration with other indicators like I do with my high five trading setup. If it's a break to the downside, it's a 63% success rate that it'll continue down. So some indicators like the head and shoulders have an 83%. Some have 81%, like a bullish falling wedge. Some are more successful than others, obviously. So we just talked about the bull flag. Now we're talking about the symmetrical triangle pattern, and we're going to keep on going through these. And we're gonna keep talking about the ones that have increasingly successful odds of happening. Last thing I'll put in here and I'll add is that 80-90% of the time, like I said in the bull flag video, when you get a breakout, 80-90% of the time you will come back to the scene of the crime to retest that trend line. So this trend line is acting as resistance right now, just as this trend line is acting as support. Every time you hit it, you bounce, you bounce, you bounce. Every time you hit up here, you reject, you reject, you reject. So this line is resistance right now. This line is support. If you break support, this will become resistance. You'll come up and bounce off it. 80-90% of the time it go lower. This line right here is support, or sorry, resistance. And once you break through that, 80-90% of the time you'll come back, retest it. And then if it's successful, you'll go higher. So again, that is symmetrical triangle pattern. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one.